इंटरव्यू गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. This will get captured on the.
ये सब लाइव हो रहा है. 1 मिनट होल्ड ऑन. Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all to OrthoTV online Monday Motivation Webinar Series. And today we have not one but two moderators, Dr. Tushar Agrawal, who is the main convener for this session, and Dr. Satyen Mehta, who is a very good friend of mine and the spine surgeon from Mumbai. So I hand over the proceedings to Dr. Tushar Agrawal to introduce today's speaker and topic.
Hi guys, good evening to all of you all, and thank you so much for joining us once again. And today, if you see our link, it's OrthoTV Motivation 25th. So we are celebrating our silver jubilee, which in a way is a good news for us, and in a way it's a bad news because we are so long into the lockdown, right? So good news, bad news is together. So Dr. Apte is, I would say, sort of it's my discovery actually, because when you are conducting a program, when you are doing this kind of things, surface. So Dr. Apte sort of surfaced, and I read his book, and I was so impressed with his book on neuro-linguistic programming that I actually called him up, and then he was so kind to talk to me. We had long conversations, and then I could actually convince him to come today. He was having a busy schedule, so it took us almost a month to get him on board. So he's a retired Indian Air Force aviation person. He has 5 degrees actually in mechanical engineering, in aerospace, in strategic planning, in propulsion, and in management. He was in a development managerial leadership position in Air Force for 25 years, following which he was the head of a management institution, and now also he is a pro vice chancellor of Maharashtra Institute of Technology. So means there is no dearth of experience in guiding, counseling, and he has actually taken this subject of neuro-linguistic programming, which is actually mind control and mind management for your betterment, as a part of management syllabus. So I think he's very, very accomplished to talk to us. We are very grateful to have him here. So over to you, sir. And you guys send in questions. Please do acknowledge us by sending in questions. We really appreciate your questions every time. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Tushar, Dr. Satyen, and Dr. Neeraj, that I got a chance to talk to the people on this very interesting topic. NLP, of course, many people know, but I'm also working along with NLP on a Hawaiian method, which is called the Huna. And I'm going to take a thread from that NLP and Huna. I'm going to talk on mind and body and healing by reducing 4 kinds of stresses. We know we have got stresses when there are a lot of lectures and books and seminars on stress, but what we talk about stress and what I'm going to talk about stresses are slightly different. Before I share my screen and start talking, I would like to just explain this, and particularly most of you are orthopedic surgeons and things like that. I just wanted to tell you one story, simple thing which actually happened. One of my colleague came to me one day, and he was head of placements, and he was limping, and he came to me and he says, I got severe pain, so can I take a half-day leave? I said, yes, you can take a half-day leave, no problem. And as he was about to leave, I just stopped him and he said, what happened? Did you meet any accident or something like that? Or twisted your leg? He said, no, it happened about 3-4 years ago, and I got all fixed up, surgery and thing like that, and I'm completely all right for 2 years ago. They checked X-ray, everything is fine. And normally I'm all right, but suddenly I get a pain. I don't know why. And he says, sometimes I get a pain in the winter, sometimes I get something like that, he told me. So I told him, it's okay, you can take a leave, but would you like to try something which I want to, which I have been practicing. I've been practicing NLP and Huna for last almost 15, 18 years. Migraines and all those kind of pains. I said, would you like to do it? I said, yes. So I worked with him for about half an hour, taught him 2 exercises. And then I told him, okay, now you can carry on. He got up and started going to the door, and he says, there's no pain. I said, I know that. Then he actually banged a little bit that foot, and he says, there's no pain. I said, okay, I know that. There's no pain. So he said, then I don't need leave. I said, it's okay. You can still take a leave. And then he started going out. He said, no, I'm not taking leave. I'm just going to my office. And while going, he turned back and he came to me and he said, "Sir, will it work for any pain?" I said, "Well, that is not, there's no fixed answer, because you should know what pain you're talking about. If you fracture your bone, then you can't do this exercise. If you're getting a heart attack, you can't do this exercise. But now, because you explained me, the doctor has told you very clearly there's nothing wrong with your ankle and still it is paining. Therefore, I did that. What I did was actually the feeling of pain has disappeared. It's like a taking a medicine and then you feel relaxed. It's like that. That particularly feeling, emotional feeling associated with this gone. He said, why it has happened? It's happened because he developed a habit of pain. There are many people who develop a habit of knee ache, knee pain. Some people develop a habit of depression. There are some people develop a habit of anger. It's exactly same way. It's a habit. It keeps coming again and again unless you change it. So I'm going to talk about mind and body. Here I'm talking about mind and body. He had an issue with the body, and I controlled his mind. Something else happens if you've got anxiety or depression, your mind is in trouble. At that time, you should take a control of body. You know that if somebody is in depression and if you tell him, no, come on, cheer up and all that, it doesn't work. That person will remain in depression. But you just take him, go for a run, go for playing some badminton or some squash or somewhere, or just go for a walk, and that person will be better off. Why? Because his mind was in trouble. You have taken a control of body. Mind and body are hardwired, they are connected. One of them will affect the other. Mind affects body, we know. Body affects mind, that also we know. So when your mind is in trouble, control your body. When the body is in trouble, control your mind. I go in the evening for a jog. One day I was a
Sir, your
little out of
screen
breath.
is not shared yet.
Oh, I'm just about to share.
Acha, okay, okay, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just going for a jog in the evening, and when I went for that, I just was out of breath. I sat at one place. There were about five, six, eight people were sitting there, old people, and they were talking. As I stayed there for about 10 minutes, and they were all talking about their pain. Somebody's knee is paining, somebody's back is paining, somebody at home there's a problem. They're all talking about their pain and problem for 15 minutes almost. I heard, then I started going for my job. Next day again, as a curiosity, I sat there. I again heard the same thing. 4 days it happened. Fifth day I decided I will not stop there, but I just stopped and told them that this all old people, I said, sorry to tell you this, but your pain will remain. They were so angry with me initially. They said, what are you talking and all that? I said, your pain will remain because you have started loving your pain. You have started loving your ankle pain. You have started your knee pain. You have started your back pain. It will remain with you because you're all the time talking only this, nothing else. Your young days, you must have done so many things, so many things. Why don't you talk on that? You're from different professions. Why don't you share that? Why you every day has to have to tell each other what are the problems? So mind and body is connected. Now I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to start. I'll start the presentation mode. Okay. So the first one, I'm talking about wisdom of sages. There are many people, all kinds of religions and all kind of old people, olden days, ancient times. People were talking about harmony with the people and world around them. That was a thread. If you go to Upanishads, you go to any ancient scriptures, and you'll find this. And people have developed various systems all over world. Some are physical systems like yoga. Some are energy systems like Reiki or Aikido. There are some mental systems, that is philosophies like Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. They're all philosophies. You have to think about it. Then there's some spiritual. Then there are some emotional ways. There are linguistic, like a neuro-linguistic programming, alchemy, Huna. All these systems, ancient systems, used to talk about harmony, being harmony with the people around you and being harmony with the world around you. And based on that, this Huna system, which I liked it, I have studied most of these systems just as a curiosity, what is it is. And when I was studying this, I stumbled upon this Huna, and I found out very interesting principle in Huna, and therefore I got in love with Huna and started using it along with my other therapies, whatever I used to do for healing techniques for people. Huna says whatever works is Huna. That actually Really, I was very happy to see that. They said if Reiki works for you, that is your Huna. If yoga works for you, that is your Huna. If playing a game that works for you, that is your Huna. So whatever works for you is Huna. You should only wonder what is working for you. You should only account for what is effective rather than it is true or not. Don't discuss whether it will work or not, believe, blind faith. Many people talk about blind faith and all that. Actually, every faith is blind, or every faith is not blind, whichever way you look at it. I can prove it that if, whatever you are saying, it is how you look at it. And there, from there, the one principle I am going to talk about three principles of Huna in this connection. One of the principle of the Huna, there are seven of them. One of the principle is the world is what you think it is. World is what you think it is. I'll just give you an example of the world people complaining about their problems because they were thinking the world is a problem, and therefore they were actually getting that world in that fashion. The world is what you think it is. If you consider the beautiful world, it is a very happy world, then world is happy. Where is it beautiful? It's because it is in your mind. They Huna people, they call it as the inner world, which is inside us. Whether you call it mind, brain, all put together, it is the inner world. Outer world is what is outside you see and all that. The inner world changes your outer world, and outer world changes your inner world, and it happens automatically. So point to note here is our we can only have a control on our inner world, and then outer world changes. So rather than making effort to change outer world, change the other person, you better change yourself or your world. That's what it talks about. And there are four kinds of realities it talks about. Objective reality, what actually exists outside. In our Indian philosophy, it is called as a Maya or Mithya. That world is illusion. Outside world is illusion because it looks different to different people. If you have got a friend, you will see it is a very friend, but somebody else will say no, he is very cunning. Somebody else say no, he is very so and so. And say for the same person, somebody will say is very good, somebody will say is not good, somebody will say is selfish, somebody, one person, how can five people will talk about five different ways? Because that particular person is an illusion to you. You only receive what you think it is right. That is why we call it a subjective reality. It is subjective to each individual. But it is based on your upbringing, it is based on your beliefs, your experiences in life, all that, it depends. And then finally it comes as a subjective reality. But in your brain you cannot store a subjective reality. In brain it is always stored as a symbolic reality. Once you say, oh, this child is very notorious. What is notorious? Is there a definition for notorious? No, you are given a symbol. You say this child is very wise, child is very intelligent. The moment you say the child is intelligent, you're given a symbol of intelligent to the child. You say five times to that child in different occasions, oh, he is very intelligent, he is very intelligent. Now child starts believing that he is intelligent, and then he starts behaving like an intelligent, and he becomes intelligent. So we would like to live that real symbolic reality. So whether you say good or not good, people start living that after a particular period of time. You know that someone say, oh, I'm not good in mathematics. That is a symbol. Not good means what? He gets less marks, or he's not good in calculations, or he doesn't like it. We don't know. You just say he's not good in mathematics, and then that person starts living that reality. And then fourth type of reality is a holistic reality. Everything is connected. They based on their complete philosophy, based on everything is connected. Same like our Indian philosophy, also ancient philosophy says we all are connected. We call it Atma, Paramatma, whatever it is, and we all connected. Now we see still each other different. The Huna calls it is a useful illusion. That's how we can live. Otherwise we won't be able to live together if both of you or us start thinking that we are same, but actually we are same. That's what it talks about. So this I'll tell you one small story of a traveler. One traveler was going to one town, and he went to the hill, and he just from the hill, the town was below that hill. So before going down, he saw a wise old man sitting under the tree. He just stops there and he asks that wild old man, can you tell me how are the people in this town? I'm going first time in this town. How are the people? Wise man asked him, can you tell me from where you're coming? He says, I'm coming from so and so place. He says, how are the people in your town? This is our people in our town are very nice, pious, very helpful, and they will do anything for you, and they are really good people. I'm very good people, and my business was really thriving in that town. I wanted to expand it, therefore I came to this town. The old man says, good thing you have told me. This town has got a very nice people, a very helpful people, gentle people. They will do all out, they will help you whichever way it is. So you be rest assured that this town is a really good town. You have come to the right place. That person goes to the town, works for 6 8 days, and he comes back. Well, coming back, he goes to that old man and he says that, thank you very much for telling me. Really, people were very good. I really expanded my business, and I'm really grateful to you for telling me about people. I really found everyone here is good. And he goes on. After a few days, another traveler comes, and this old man is still sitting there. And along with the old man, his disciples are also sitting behind him. So these people, that old man, that traveler comes to old man, and he says, I want to go to, I'm going to this town. Can you tell me how the people are? So that old man says, can you tell me from where you're coming? He said, I'm coming from so and so place. He says, how are the people there? He says, yo, our people are very bad in our town. They're all notorious thieves and cheats, and they will rob you and all that. You just can't do any business because they're all corrupt. And I'm really fed up. And therefore, I thought instead of running a business in that town, let me find out whether I can find some other town to do the business. So that old man tells him, good thing you asked me. This, you should be very careful in this town, because people are all thieves and they will rob you, and you won't know also. If they pick up your pocket, you pickpocket, you won't know, even know they will sell anything, they'll sell you also. They should be very careful in this town. The man goes there. After 1 week of staying there doing business, he comes back. Again, he goes to old man and he says, thank you very much for telling me this. Really, these people are very bad, and because you told me, I was really careful. Otherwise, they have looted me, and then I would have been robbed. And thank you for us. Somehow I escaped and came out. I'm not going to come to this town again. And he walks off. The disciples who are standing behind this old man, they say, you keep telling us that we should always tell the truth, but you are lying. The wise old man says, no, I was not lying. He said, no, you are lying, because first person you told this town has got very good people. Second person, you have told him that they're very bad people. So means you must be lying at least one time. The old man says, no, I was not lying. They say, how come? He says, the world is what you think it is. The first person was thinking the world is good. He found it is good. Second traveler found world is bad. That was his experience. So he found that is bad.
Great.
Now
So
this
what
is
just just before you go ahead, so just what you're trying to say is that we are we have to take our prejudices out. If you go with a prejudice
yes,
into any
that's right.
environment, into meeting anyone, you're carrying that
That's
with
correct.
you, and yeah. So go with an open
That's
mind.
correct. You're go with the open mind, and whatever you are expecting, people, your expectations will be met. So be
Yeah,
open minded. Don't go with the preconceived notions. Like the first person came. Actually, the town was same. The people were same. But
yeah,
this first person found a good people, because he probably attracted to the good people. He found a good things in the people. Like you have got subordinates. Every subordinate has got something good, something not good. But the people who are looking for the good, they will only pick up the good habits or good things from the subordinate. And some people who are bad, they will only find the faults, and they will say
mm.
this person is not good.
These
Otherwise, we are
prejudices,
all
they are
mix
quite,
of good and bad.
yeah, deeply rooted in us right from childhood. It could be religion
That's
related,
correct.
something, sometimes
That
caste related.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yes, sir.
that's
Please go
right.
ahead. Please go
That's
ahead.
right. That's right. We know that somebody is from so and so state. I'm not mentioning any state because people should not feel bad about it. So and so state. Ah, that person may be like that. You just brand that person without thinking that those people also could be different types. Each state will have, each city will have different types. Now, this is a depicted world around us. This is an objective reality. You perceive it through five senses. That is our subjective reality, because everyone feels it differently. And then it is stored in your brain or mind as a symbolic reality. Not only mind and body, both together, because emotions are stored in the body. So, body, mind together, you have a perception of the world which is stored as a symbol. Another principle, interesting principle, is energy flows where attention goes. If your attention is good thing, energy will flow there. Attention is towards goal, energy will flow there. If attention is negative things, energy will flow there. You must have experienced as a surgeons that sometime you feel, yes, I will do it, I got no problem, and then at the time everything moves very smoothly. And some people may call it luck, some people may call it anything, actually, or expertise, but it happens. Sometimes you feel something is not right, something is not right, the energy starts flowing, not right, not right, and then it actually happens that way. So it is a principle of focus, where you are focusing right things or wrong things, good things or bad things. Wherever you focus, things will continue because energy is flowing in that direction. Your mind is thinking in that direction. And on the same, there is a alchemist, and your the secret book you must have read, or movie you must have seen. One always gets what he or she wants, provided you feel strongly. Universe will conspire to give you that. That's what is that movie or secret book says. The universe will conspire to give you something which you really want. So if you want negative things, you will get a negative thing. If you want positive, it will work positive. So your focus should always be on the good things, positive things, success, whatever it is. And corollary to this, at energy flows where attention goes, corollary is attention goes where energy flows. Now this creates a different situation altogether. If you think about negative, energy will flow to negative. Because energy is flowing to negative, you will further think about negative, and you go to downward spiral. Depression and those cases, usually they go to downward spiral. The starting point is usually same for many people. You feel something happens, I probably get less grades or something like that, or something happens, I lose, somebody loses a job, doesn't get increment, or whatever it is, some situation happens. Now if you start thinking negative about it, your energy will start flowing, and then energy will take your attention also there, and you will get into negative spiral, you will go to depression, suicidal tendencies, all that. On the other hand, same situation, you may look at positive part of it. Okay, okay, because of this, now I got a chance to do something else, and now you get into the positive spiral. Energy will flow to positive. You will do further positive, and that's what it happens. Like even present case of COVID, some people are got into the negative spiral. Some people have got into the positive spiral. Some people say it is a curse for people, and then our job will go, or this will happen. Some people are finding opportunities in this, or some people are saying, okay, okay, it's so what, it has happened, after 4 months I'll bounce back. So that is the way person thinks about this, whatever it is, and your immune systems and all that work together on all this. Third principle is, which I started at the beginning. I said that whether you believe or not, matter really. Whether something is right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about healing techniques and things like that. So effectiveness is a measure of truth. That's what Huna says. If it is effective, then it is true. You don't have to prove it, or you don't have to question it. If it is effective, it has to be true. So there, and whatever works is Huna. And if it is not working, do something else. It is an open system. It says do something else. There is no failure in life. It's only feedback. If you consider it as a failure, then it is your problem. But if you consider it as a feedback, if I did this, therefore it happened, that's a feedback, so that you can change and you can improve upon the system. It is up to how you look at your so-called failure. Actually, there is no failure in life unless it is in your mind, and that is a stoppage in your mind. But otherwise, it is a feedback. So one NLP presupposition I'm just going to mention, which I initially talked a couple of examples. Mind and body are just two parts of the same system. They are hardwired. They affect each other. Use one which is not in distress. My grandmother used to do it very well. If I get my hand, suppose injured, or so is it bleeding or something like that, and I'm crying, my grandmother will not look at my wound. She will not touch that wound also. Nowadays, of course, you find the ladies will immediately take some, say, Dettol or Savalon or something antiseptic, and immediately, and child will keep crying. But my grandmother, what will do at that time immediately, she will just show me in the sky and say, "Look at aeroplane. See that aeroplane is going. See, can you see that? Or maybe a crow is flying. Can you see that?" And I will stop and start looking up, watching the aeroplane till it goes on the other side. By that time, the aeroplane goes, I already forgotten my wound. Now my grandmother will dress my wound or whatever it is. So, what grandmother has done, she has just changed that. She has taken a control of my mind. You know that when your knee is paining and if you've got a very good serial or a very good movie going on the TV, for those 2 hours, you forget your pain. Where did the pain goes? Pain doesn't go anywhere. It just your mind has taken a control. So use that. Now coming to the actual crux, what I've been talking about is a balance in life. That's what these all ancient systems talk about. Modern systems work only in the silos. Someone say, oh, I'm only specialist in this, I'm only in this, I'm only in this. The people are split. They're complete, whether it is healing therapy or whether it is engineering or whatever it is, we have made a silos. And now, of course, we are slowly coming to integration and things like that. Whereas earlier ancient systems were always talking about a balance in life, and learn simple and effective techniques to resolve emotional and physical issues, bring harmony in the relations with the people and world. People were even worshipping the trees, worshipping the stones, worshipping the mountains, worshipping the waterfalls. Well, you'll say there's no life in that, but still they were doing it. So get rid of unnecessary stress in work life as well as in family life. That balance system gives, we'll see how it is. And to be healer of your own, because getting balance with the life is your own. No one else can help you in that. You can only do it yourself, and you can also pass it on to others. If you are working hard and under stress, probably you are not using wisdom of sages. Now, let us come back to stress because that's our main topic today. I'm going to move to that. Stress is a feeling of, I don't have to spend too much of time. You're all learned people, doctors. So I'm just giving a little bit of this thing. Stress is a feeling of emotional and physical tension. Physical stress, emotional stress. There are another two kinds of stress which I'm going to talk about. It can come from any event or thought which makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. Stress is nothing but your body's reaction to challenge and or demand, because actually body response, there's a body response, maybe BP and your birth rate, heart rate and all that, whatever happens, the stress is that response. If your body is calm and quiet, then you don't feel stress because the body has to respond in that. And if it is short burst, stress can be useful because you avoid the danger, fight and flight and all that responses. But if it's a long time, then you have got a problem. And what symptoms you feel? I'll just put it for completeness of the presentation, nothing else. Physical symptoms, dizziness, chest pain, aches, this, all that, you know, that frequent cold and flu and things like that. Cognitive symptoms are memory problem, inability to concentrate, poor judgment, and all. These are anxiety. All this is a cognitive symptoms. Then you've got a behavioral symptom because you behave differently when you're under stress, eating more or eating less, sleeping too much or too little, and that kind of thing. You're disturbed from balance. You don't do anything in the balance. So when you're in the stress, procrastinate, neglect responsibility, using alcohol, cigarette, drugs, all you do extremes. You're not in balance state. And last one is emotional symptoms. That is a depression and medical conditions or whatever that, moods and irritability, anger. These are all emotional areas which you get in this. So there's a four types of, and why it happens, why this stress happens. Now I'm coming to the main point which I want to communicate. Why it happens? Because we resist. The moment we stop resisting, there won't be any stress. To give you example, if somebody throws a ball at you and you stop it with the hand, you're resisting it. Therefore, you'll get hit. But a good cricketer will go along with the ball for some distance and then catch it because he's reducing the resistance. Hit, cut, blows, burns, junk food, all is because of physical resistance. Okay. You will cut your hand, but your mind is now resisting it. The moment you start resisting that physical thing, it will get a problem because you will get same thing for junk food. All that is a physical resistance. And how to get over the physical resistance? This Hawaiian people have got some methods of getting over physical resistance. That is called stub toe. Of course, there's not enough time that I did with that person who had ankle pain. I did this stub toe technique. Stub toe technique is actually removing that accident from your memory by telling nothing happened, and you repeat it again and again in your mind, so that as if you start believing nothing happened. Was never injured. And actually I demonstrated to the people. Even I got a big wound just about 15 days, 20 days ago. Doctor said it will take at least 15 days to heal and all that. I did not do any this thing, normal dressing at home. I did it, and I told the doctor that my friend, and I told him that by tomorrow I will be all right. He says, no, it is not possible. You have to do this, etc. Antibiotic. I said, no, I'm not going to take it. And I was not even, and it was not even paining. It didn't pain. And next day I removed it and I showed it to him that it is completely healed. I actually showed. I got photographs of that. He said, how did it happen? I said, I kept closed my eyes and kept on running the program in our mind as if one did not happen, as if it did not happen. That glass piece came up to my hand and stopped, came up to that and stopped. I kept on repeating. My mind started believing that it didn't happen, and I got it quickly healed. Next is emotional stress. I'm going to talk about emotional and mental, and small exercise I'm going to actually demonstrate and show it to you. Emotional stress happens because of fear and anger. It happens at subconscious mind. It is to protect your ego and self-esteem. You feel emotionally hurt. Somebody insults you. You feel hurt. You feel hurt. Your ego is hurt. Your self-esteem is hurt. Boss shouts at you. You feel emotionally stressed. So your some breakup in the relationship. You're emotionally hurt because, and that leads to fear or anger, and it protects to protect this ego. Our emotional resistance starts, but this emotional resistance gives you emotional stress. So if you learn not to resist emotionally, whatever happens, like boss is shouting at you, if you don't resist, you accept the shout, listen to that, but don't resist. If you do that, your this stress will not be developed. Emotional stress will not be developed. Whereas the mental resistance is a conscious mind resistance. Something is wrong somewhere, and you don't agree with that, and you are unnecessarily getting agitated, and that kind of something. US president has done something and you are agitated here, and it is not going to help you anyway, neither he is going to listen to you, but we keep getting angry. Something happens somewhere wrong and you are agitated, and why you are agitated we don't know really. It is a mental resistance. You feel something has gone wrong and therefore you are resisting. Please note that something is wrong is right. Okay, you feel that yes, it is wrong, it should be changed, but don't resist. Don't resist, allow it, it has happened. So that is a mental resistance. And last one is spiritual resistance. If you spiritual resistance happens of feeling of alienation or rejection. I have actually handled many cases of PUBG game addiction. I also handled a case of that blue whale. You must have heard that blue whale addiction, or that is game, or whatever it is. I helped the people who are in the almost 25th stage of blue whale. I recovered them back. And what happens to those people? They get into spiritual resistance because they're alienated. They are not connected with the people around. And human being is social animal. It happens in many people's life when out of husband wife one of them expires, dies. What happens to the other person? And many times it happens, one person dies and other person within few months that other person also will be no more. Otherwise is a healthy person. Why? Because he feels spiritual resistance, and it relates to spiritual stress. It is staying in a virtual, nowadays it has started that staying in the virtual world is a new problem has started for long duration. People playing video game for 4 hours, 5 hours, watching movies for hours together. They stay in virtual world, and as a result the spiritual resistance is created that leads to spiritual stress. For spiritual stress reduction, the simple method is chanting and meditation. If you do the chanting, whatever you want to chant, doesn't matter. You may chant even nursery rhyme, doesn't matter. Otherwise, you can chant some God's name or whatever it is. We do in our Brahmasmi or whatever you want to chant. Om, whatever you want to chant, you do it. Or otherwise, if you don't believe in any of this religion, you chant anything, whatever you want to. But chant, repeated chanting, same if you keep repeating, then that reduces the resistance. Another thing is meditation. Of course, meditation is the best solution for this. So now I'll go to the middle two, emotional resistance and mental resistance, which happens quite often. Spiritual resistance happens only in less number of times. Once in a while, you feel vacuum in your life or something. Okay, physical resistance in any case only when you get hit or something like that. That is a different issue. But emotional and mental resistance we get exposed too often And most of our stress is due to emotional stress or mental stress. So there are two methods in Hawaiian method. This Huna method, I'll just tell you, explain you that, and that these two exercises. Pico Pico is a Hawaiian kind of breathing. They call it energy breathing. Pico is a center, and another Pico is also center. It is center to center breathing. So one is a center of a universe which they feel, they believe that it is above your head. This is your super higher self. They say you got a three selves: lower self, which is your mind; middle self, which is your brain, maybe like the mental, whatever stress, and higher self is above you. It doesn't normally help you. It only, if you want any help, it gives you, like intuition, motivation, that comes from that higher self. It is connected to world outside, that is universe. So that connected to universe, that is on the top of your head. And now while breathing in, you take a energy from top of your head, and other pico is a center of you, that is at navel. So you store the energy at your navel, and therefore they say take a energy with a smooth breath in. They take a energy from top of your head, and while breathing out, store it in your navel. So while breathing in smoothly, watch towards, focus on your head. It is only focusing on your head. No pressure is to be given, no extension, something like that. Smooth breathing in and smooth breathing out. But while breathing in, your focus should be on the top of your head, and breathing out, your focus should be at navel. If you do that, your body energy increases. And suppose if you got an injury on hand, then while breathing out, you breathe out through that wound. Breathing in again, top of your head, take the energy in, and breathing out through that wound outside, so that you displace that negative energy. It is energy healing, they call it. In fact, Hawaiian people, when they see the foreigners, when they came, Westerners from Europe, they went there, they start, the name which is in the Hawaiian language for the people from the West is the people who don't breathe. People who don't breathe, because they found that people are breathing very shallow, whereas those Hawaiian people used to take a deep breath in and deep breath out, focusing along with this, as I told you. And that's their habit, and they formed a habit, and they were perpetually, they used to do regularly. Their breathing was very smooth, and this, so that pico pico breathing helps in bringing yourself in harmony. Another exercise is called as authority. In authority exercise, you assume yourself as a god, or maybe a king of universe, whatever, and then start giving orders to entire world, including living as well as non-living objects. Keep giving the orders, and your order will be followed. Rest assured that your order will be followed. The only condition is you have to give only one order, and that is continue. That order is continue, and give it in your mind. Don't give loudly. Give it continue. So do you look at a fan? If it is rotating, you say fan rotate, continue. If the fan is stopped, you say continue. If you, while driving, you see the red signal on the traffic signal, you say continue. Then it becomes green, you say continue. Somebody is cutting lane, you say continue. Somebody comes in front of you, say continue. Your boss is shouting at you, say continue. You keep saying continue from inside you. Practice this for 10-15 days, and I can assure you, I've done it. I have told this exercise so many people, that your anger will just disappear. You won't get angry so easily, because your mind will say continue. Something happens, you just say continue. Let it continue as it is. And here is more than what is said by Dale Carnegie, that is accept the inevitable. When you say accept the inevitable, which Dale Carnegie has said, here there's some negativity. This is inevitable. You have got no control, therefore you accept it. There is some kind of you are lesser than others. That kind. But here it is not so. In this authority exercise, you say that I am the king of universe, and I am giving the order to do this. Even my boss is shouting at me. I have given the order for him to do this. Therefore, he is shouting at me. What happens is you are peaceful, and therefore you can understand why boss is shouting, what should be done, or whatever it is. Same thing for traffic signal is red. Your mind says continue, because in any case you can't do anything. If signal is red, you have to wait for 1.5 minutes. So there's no point in getting angry. Go, I'm getting late. I'm getting late. People keep doing that. Somebody cuts the lane. You can't go and stop him. He's gone. But we keep irritated inside your mind. But here, authority exercise, if you practice for 10, 15 days, your mind will say continue. So whatever is here, let it continue. You are doing, you are the God. Bhagwan Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita exactly gave this advice, saying that you continue doing work. I know why you are doing it. I am arranging it. War is arranged by me. You are fighting with your brothers because of I arranged that. So in other words, take a responsibility. Sri Ravi Shankar says that take a responsibility. So this is that authority is nothing but responsibility. Take the responsibility of the world. Take the responsibility of everything so that you won't get agitated because you are the one who is actually doing it. If the glass drops and breaks, continue because you are taking responsibility. Yes, it is that I have it has dropped because of my order. Simple. So you won't get irritated because you are the one who is doing it. So with that, now I'm just coming to last end about harmony. What can it do? It can make you more patient, calm while dealing with any situation. Your anxiety and this will just go off, and you will be able to do karma yogi or whatever you call it in Bhagavad Gita. Maybe that is a very tall order to become a karma yogi, but at least you can go to that level, closer to that level. I've gone reasonably to that level. 90% of time I won't get agitated. How I did it? By doing these exercises regularly. Control your emotions and psychological states. Change negative behavior and habits, and increase the effectiveness and achieve your goal with less conscious efforts and hence less stress. You achieve your goal, but you're subconscious. You allow, like you are riding a bicycle. Once you learn it, initially you're conscious, and therefore you are quite tensed up. After that, you are so used to riding a cycle that it becomes your habit. Then you become subconscious. You would ride for 10 kilometers, you won't know also which road you have followed. It is so smooth. So they get all these habits as your good habits in your ingrained, including your goals, your habit. Harmony in life, that is a balance. That's what they talk about. And all our ancient philosophies are balanced. Even you see yoga or you say Indian philosophies, they all talk about balance and right amount. Sleep balanced, 7 hours, 6 hours, whatever they say, 7 hours. Exercise balanced, not too much, not too less. Thoughts are balanced, relationships are balanced, food is balanced. You go to Ayurveda, they only talk about a balanced system of food and all habits. Then learn to relax, have a fun. Don't exchange your fun with money because it's not exchangeable. Fun is a happiness, money is not. Money is only the medium to buy it. That's it. So don't give too much of importance to that medium. Spiritual, meditate, chanting, these are all going to help you at various stages. Over time, over a period of time, high cholesterol levels, cortisol levels, you know that, your doctors, you know that it can lead to weight gain, high BP, all this will happen with that. You have to do something to stop that. Concentration, this thing, difficult to concentrate. But try the simple lifestyle tips which are there, I talked to you about to lower your cortisol. You can lower it by just balance. That's it. No anger, no balance. In fully balanced, you won't have any problems. And then you will have more energy and it will improve your health. I can just tell you about improving our health. Last time I remember I had fallen sick was in 1976. Last time I had a headache is 1976. So now you can work out how many years I am without headache. And how? Because it's okay. It is a part of life. The moment you say it is a part of life, it won't come to you. But if you say it is something alien and going to trouble you, it will keep chasing you. So studies have increasingly revealed that moderately high cholesterol levels can cause a lot of problems. So we should not have that at all. Chronic complications, weight gain, tiredness, and it interferes with the memory and infections, that is immune system nowadays people talk about. So with this, I'll ask you three questions, very interesting questions, and I always ask to my every lecture, learn something new. That is my second session. Question: and do you think it would be useful for you in your life? These are called as affirmative queries that makes you think in this direction. Every question makes you think. First question will make you enjoy. Second question will help you to find out what is new. And third question will you'll start finding what is useful for me. Whatever we had spoken for 45 minutes, you'll find what is new to you. So with that, hello.
Great, sir. Great, sir. Sir, if I
Okay,
may
I'm
add
just
a few things, can you hear me?
yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please. I can hear you. Now I am just wondering how to close it because that sharing.
You can stop sharing, sir.
So on the top,
Nobody's.
you get that.
No, it's not. But I think it's not coming. Should I go here? No.
On the top of your screen, it should.
Yeah, top it is not coming. That's what I'm wondering why it is not coming. I'll just probably minimize it and see what happens. Okay. Now I'm getting it. Stop share. Okay. Right. I'm back.
So, sir, you were talking about what we learned from your lecture. I think one thing which has really struck a chord with me is about the emotional and mental resistance that we give. And I think
Yes.
the biggest teacher in our life has been marriage. And if you are
Yes.
with, you will get so much of emotional and mental resistance that with marriage you'll get to learn and accept, and you stop resisting, and you just take all the shouting and beating that you're getting, and then you are happy. And I think that every time now, I think many husbands are now going to start saying continue every time the wife starts
Continue.
shouting.
Yes. You're right.
Yeah,
Oh, well, the people say you can't clap with one hand. You need two hands to
yeah,
clap. Unless you resist, that will not happen. If you don't resist,
yeah.
well, nothing. This clap won't happen, right?
Yes, sir. If this picks up, we'll start hearing continue throughout Bombay here. Sir,
Yeah,
taking this,
particularly for driving, it is very useful. Driving,
yeah.
there are many people who have got a driving problem, particularly in the crowded cities like Mumbai, Pune. One of my
Oh,
friend,
yeah.
he used to shout while driving. Windows are up, and still he's shouting, "Oh, why they are doing? Oh, they are doing? They don't know how to follow the
Yeah.
rules and all." His wife used to
Yeah.
say, "You will get a heart attack if you continue like this. You keep quiet." But he will not. He stopped driving. So one day she asked me, "Can you tell him something?" I gave him this exercise. Within 15 days, she called me and said he is driving very smoothly now. Puts on the music, and if somebody is coming, crossing, he says, "Okay, continue." Chalne do.
Great, great, sir. So, taking this further, in this for pandemic time, there's been a lot of stress in our minds. I mean, a lot of uncertainties, a lot of stresses have come about.
Yes,
What tips
yes.
would you give now to for us to be able to? And I'm not talking about marriage. Marriage part is over. Regarding everything else, what tips would you give for us to be
Yes.
able to deal with this further?
Yes. Now, first is this exercise itself will help you. This authority exercise itself will help you because you say continue. See, if that infection has to come to you, you can take a precautions, all right. You can take a do's and don'ts, all right. But beyond that, you can't do anything. If somebody gets infected, it just gets infected. It's a question of whether he maintains his health, otherwise immune systems and things like that intact. Means he's happy. If he's happy, his immune systems are fine. He hasn't got any other kind of diseases. Then in any case, he's going to fight it out. So you be patient, be cool, take precautions, but don't overtly get worried because the moment you start getting worried, your immune system is going to go down, and you're more likely. You see that in the same home, in same family of six people, two or three people are infected, another two or three are not infected. Husband is infected, wife is not infected. Why should it happen? It happens because probably wife has got a better immune system. Maybe that husband is probably perturbed, and maybe whatever it is. So take all precautions, take all this in due care. But this, it is pointless to be unduly perturbed. If it has to catch you, it will catch you. That kind of thing. So have an open mind. Too much of reading, too much of bombarding on television is also bad. People keep telling us all sorts of things.
Hmm.
You pick up only what you feel right, and then that much you do it. That's it. Like even this
And
COVID
continue.
case, whenever there is no curfew, I'm going to office. My age is 66. People say, oh, above 60, do this. I said, why?
Hmm.
If I'll take all precautions, all right. I'm healthy. I got no ailment. I am not in medicine for last almost 30 years. So why should I worry about it? If it has to catch, it will catch. One day, so everybody has to go. So I'll do that. In fact, play badminton regularly. At the age of 50, many people started telling me, don't play badminton, your knees will have problem and knees will start paining. So one of my doctor is there, he also pens with me, he's a medical professional. He says, yeah, don't worry on that, you take a precautions, kneecap or something, that's good enough. And then my philosophy is like this: when it will start paining, I'll stop playing. But why should I stop playing before it starts paining? So as long as I take all precautions, good shoes, good this, whatever it is I can think of, warming up before starting, I'm doing religiously that yoga, and then only going for cycling, and then only playing badminton. Now 50 age, and now I'm 66. The 16 years of badminton I would have lost if I had, that happiness I would have lost if I'd listened to that person at that time. So every time I kept on increasing 5 years. At 50, I said, okay, I'll play up to 55. Then I said, okay, I'll play up to 60. Then I say, okay, 65. Last year I said, I'll play up to 70. And believe me, I will play up to 70. Then we'll see whether I can increase my target. Right.
Sir, I think in your whole talk, you very passingly actually mentioned the single most important fact, and it is that you have to use both your mind and your body.
Yes.
And whatever is not working well, to control the one which is working. I think
Other
that is
one. Correct.
single most important point that we right. So let us say if you are operating and if you are struggling and if you feel mentally stressed at that point of time, at least we can maintain a proper body language, a proper body posture. Uh, we are feeling
That's right.
tired, and the body posture goes wrong, then we have to use the mind to relax and change that. So whatever
Correct.
is not working, we have to excuse it, and whatever is working, we have
Working, you get one.
that
Correct.
I think was the single most important thing. I just wanted to highlight that. Now, also for people who may have been exposed to neurolinguistic programming, I feel you have in each of your slide, you have actually you have integrated the two philosophies. Actually, the last line would be more like towards NLP, and the first
Yes.
few.
First line. That's correct. Huna.
Now, I had asked previously also, so few questions like, can you tell us how chanting works and how meditation works?
Right.
Uh, at what levels do they work?
Like chanting is repeating something with monotony. Repeating something with monotony. What happens is it takes you to a kind of trance. It takes you to kind of trance, and therefore your brain activities at that time slowly reduce. And as your thing is reduced, you're less likely to be perturbed. They call it default mode. You're less likely to go to your default mode. And default mode is where you're going to have a problem. And almost 50% we are in default mode. So if you can reduce that default mode time, our happiness will improve. And therefore, that emptiness will go. That chanting is usually done if you feel empty. You got nothing to do. What do you do? That old people, they're alone at home. That chanting helps. And chanting need not be a particular mantra. If you believe in mantra, you do it in the mantra. By all means, you must, if you believe it in. But even if you don't believe it in that, you can do some chanting. Okay, that is one. Whereas meditation is a kind of process where you go close to thoughtless process. Close to thoughtless process. You can't really go to zero thought process unless you are expert in that. And it has been scientifically also proven that some meditation practitioners go to such an extent that they operate in their default mode just less than 10%. Means there is a chances of they feeling perturbed or unhappy is less than 10%. And they can, particularly Buddhist monks and all, they have carried out their these experiments of their EEG, when they are chanting, when they are meditating, what happens. But if you can't go to that level, at least if you do something focused, if you do something focused, you're less likely to go to the default mode. In fact, still they say almost 40% you will go there, but improve your focus more and more. And focus is again the meditation. There are some guided meditation. I normally myself do it guided. I do actually meditation 3 times a day. Morning I do a guided meditation. That is a we call in Huna. There is a meditation called as garden. I do that garden meditation. It's actually you travel through the garden mentally with the closed eyes, so that your all other thoughts go off. Only thought is that garden, flowers, this, fruits, or vegetable, or lawns, or whatever it is, fountains, and all that. You keep traveling through that. Lunchtime, before lunchtime, I do musical meditation. Put on music and just close your eyes. Keep listening to the music. Now focus is on only that thoughtlessness of the music. And in the night time, something closer to chanting, not exactly chanting, but something closer to some mantra you keep saying. And then again, if you start thinking, your mind wavers, again start the mantra. Again, mind wavers, again start mantra. Idea is to keep out of 10 minutes, at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes, your thoughtless kind of state, and you feel very happy. After that, you can get an excellent sleep. Sometimes while doing that meditation itself, you sleep. That is okay.
Sir, I'm just trying to understand. So, are making a conscious effort in both the activities to program our subconscious. Am I right?
Yes, to certain extent, yes. You have to train your subconscious. Like it's like a habit. You train your subconscious. After that, subconscious will do its own.
Is in training your subconscious. Am I correct in understanding?
Yes, you have to train your
practice. So when we say train your subconscious mind or subconscious re-imprinting, this is what we are talking about. That you do activities and you become less perturbed, and eventually you become a calmer.
That's correct. That's correct. In fact, any process you do, you have to, your conscious mind has to train you. Suppose you learn cycling in the childhood. First, you don't know that you don't know cycling, because you don't know cycling itself. Then you see somebody actually doing cycling. Then you know that you don't know the cycling. Other person knows, but you don't know. Now your conscious training starts. Somebody is holding you. You are holding the brakes. You are looking here and there. You are quite tensed. That is a consciously you are getting the skill. After some time, your subconscious is trained. After that, it becomes habit. Now you won't even know that you're cycling. Same thing happens with everything, whether your studies. I know that you are all surgeons. Initially, you must be, your in younger days, you must be worried whether I'm doing right or not, and remember Flipkart. Now you're so naturally you're doing it as if trance. You can say when you're actually doing surgery, you're actually meditating. You're in trance. You're completely focused, 100%. If somebody walks here, you won't even know. Something happens, you're hungry, you won't even know. You're just focused on your patient and doing operation. That is nothing but a meditation. That is nothing but a trance. You don't have to sit in the jungle and do meditation.
Sir, another one very good point which you had mentioned, and you mentioned absolutely in the end, and you asked questions in an affirmative manner. I think we should suggest that to our audience, from what I've understood, you met me, is that let's say when the patient comes to us first and the patient is in pain, if we want to elicit the problem, we should not ask in affirmation. And once we have treated the patient and we want to elicit the cure, then it is better to ask in affirmation. So, like in NLP, is the meaning of, it's what do they say? The meaning of communication is the.
Question is what you get. Yes.
Is it something to expect? So if you
response
may just,
you get. Meaning of the communication is the response you get.
And also the beautiful statement is that you are never not communicating.
You cannot not communicate. It is impossible not to communicate. If I tell you now that don't think about monkey, is it possible? No. You will think about monkey first. And then you will realize, oh, I don't have to think. You have told me not to think, but abhi kya kare? I have thought. So rather than if you want to tell somebody, if I tell you, think about dog. Now, how many of you will think about cat? No one. Because I told you think about dog, we will think about dog. The same thing happens to you, as you said, patient also. That if you think about, okay, you're all right now, you will feel all right now. So you will only think about all right. If you talk about difficulty, you will think about difficulty.
So if we want to stop thinking about something negative, we have to think about something else. We can't stop.
First about something else, correct. You ask something else, then only you will not.
I guess that's one of the biggest thing in COVID, right? So if we are terribly negative or anxious,
that's
we can't
correct.
stop thinking. We just have to start thinking about something else which is equally or even more engaging.
You hit the nail on the head. That's what is required.
So we have to.
Other than COVID, you think whatever it is. You want to think something else, enjoy that, whatever. Just focus on something else and do it. Maybe you read, you write, you do whatever it is. So that you will not be worried. As simple as that.
Now, sir, one of my most important, and I am quite intrigued by a question. This my own question is that there is one thing is proper knowledge. Okay, that itself is an effort. Let us say all that we have learned from. Now is once you have the knowledge, there is a lot of resistance to bring it into action. So how do we transcend that? Means you may believe, you may be so thoroughly convinced about everything, but tomorrow it just sort of fades away, and after 3 days of meditation, the fourth day you are really not sitting for meditating. So how do we transcend this?
Okay.
Actually, get the benefit out of these.
Right. So now you're right that people say that knowing it half done, but no, knowing is not half done. Knowing is nothing. Knowing is only first step. After that, actually doing is half done or whatever you can continue. So doing is what is important rather than knowing it. We know that people know that smoking is bad, but knowing has got no meaning unless you stop smoking. It's like that. So in this case also, the perseverance, to get the perseverance, there are some exercises in Huna also, but otherwise also you can have develop it without any efforts. There's a mountain exercise in Huna, and which actually develops this perseverance. In that, you close your eyes and you have to climb a mountain in 3 minutes. 3 minutes you don't count. Whenever you open eyes, you see whether you have done it in 3 minutes or 4 minutes or 1 minute. You start climbing a mountain. Your job is to reach on the top of the mountain. You will get a lot of challenges on the way. You have to overcome. You're like a Harry Potter. You can do anything. You've got a magical wand, and you keep overcoming and reach the top. Keep doing this exercise regularly, and you will find that you will get perseverance, so that you don't have to even actually put alarms also. Without alarm also, we'll keep doing it. I don't require alarm to get up in the morning. I decide in the night what time I'm going to get up, and I get up there at that time. How? Because of this exercise puts you into that particular perseverance mode, that if you want to do it, you will do it. That's it. So put it in the habit. And for putting in the habit, rather than forcing yourself, use the pull force. There's a pull and push force. Pull force, see yourself happy after meditation. See people appreciating you, or you appreciating yourself for the meditation, so that you are motivated. And then a support system also works. Of course, if you're meditating and your wife says, yeah, you're really good, yeah, you're meditating regularly, it is good, then you start telling the other people, I meditate every day. Now you're actually pumping yourself and creating it the habit. That's the way you need to work on.
So it's a sequence of couple of things which we have to do: push, pull, micro appreciation from the environment. So
That's
as I
right.
understand, sir, from my past knowledge and by talking to you, both NLP and Huna requires a very powerful imagination.
You
Uh,
are right.
and it really, so Richard Bandler says, feeling sad also requires a very powerful imagination.
And imagination. True. You're correct. Everything is imagination.
And
And this imagination you can develop.
so if you have already imagined yourself so sad, you can flip it and imagine yourself very happy. But you choose not to
Correct?
do that. So the people who are resisting to the suggestions which you have made are actually imagining that they can't really do it. There is really no
True.
proof. There
You're,
is
you're, you're,
now we are
you
approaching the close of our session. It's a very hard thing to stop all this great talk. One last advice to our audience, sir, is how to change a belief system that we get. That okay, I can't earn more than this, or you know, I may, you know, this is the uppermost limit. I can't see more than these number of patients. So, or for example, I can't take a break. My hospital will suffer if I take a break.
So now, for this, there is a very simple method in NLP. They call neuro linguistic programming. They call it meta programs, that you question. It is like I'll give a metaphor. I'll explain in the book also as a metaphor. What you are saying is a thought that I can't take a break, my hospital will collapse, I can't do this, I'm not good in this. These are all thoughts, but that thoughts will become a table only if it has got a legs. Now you start collecting the evidences of a negative things. You start coming. So one day you get a less success or something, less marks. You say, see, I'm not good. That's why I got less marks. Next day your teacher says, oh, you are not in this. You say, I'm not good in that. Or one day you take a break and something happens in your hospital. You say, Dekho, I had told you that if I take a break, then this will something wrong with. I can't take a break. If I go 3 days outside, see what rubbish has happened. All that you keep collecting the evidences. You don't collect a good evidence. You collect all these negative evidences, and your table is now ready. That is a negative belief. We call it limiting belief. The only way to break that is remove the legs, kick the legs off. And how do you do it? Meta programs. That is question, question, question. If we say everybody does with me, you just ask question everybody. Immediately answer will go no, not everybody, few people. Every time this happens with me, you ask question every time. Questions are no, not every time. Sometimes it happens. Say also you ask question who said this. Someone says no, it is not possible for you. You say who? How do you know? Who says this? Why? You start asking questions. Someone says no, you can't do this surgery. You say how do you know? What I cannot do? Who says so? Oh, he has said. How does he know that I can do this, this, this? So you start questioning more, and every question that legs will start shaking apart. And once the legs go off, the table will collapse as a thought, and then thought will also disappear. The question, question, and question. That's the only way. Keep questioning. If somebody says, I'm not good in that, question, why not? Who says so? That kind of thing.
So if we want to make a belief, we create a table, and if we want to break a belief, we
Break a belief, you destroy the table. And making a table is actually difficult. I'll tell you why. Because we don't take a praise. We don't praise ourselves. If somebody says you're a very good surgeon, so what your natural response of no, I'm not good. The other person is much better, or something like that. But somebody says you're a really good surgeon, immediately you should say yes, I am a good surgeon. Oh, you're really successful. Yes, I am successful. Don't you may say loudly, or you at least say to your heart, or at least you start telling the people, I got this success, I got this success. Talk about it, because those are your legs. Somebody says, people say that you are very smart. Many times we say in the party, oh, you look very smart. That person sheepishly say, no, today it's okay, something. He should say, yes, I'm smart. What's wrong in it? To accept the praise, and if possible praise yourself. That will help you to yourself in your mind, saying that yes, I am good. Even in the public also you can say there is nothing wrong. If you're really good, you're really good. Simple. I know that you're reading so many thousands of books. You read, you're a good reader. If I say, you say, see, yes, I am. What's wrong in that? Yes, good. Accept that. Accept the appreciation. Many people, we do not accept appreciation when actually you do well, but we don't appreciate, we don't accept that appreciation. Start learning to appreciate, accept your appreciation. Gifts, accept the gifts.
so we really enjoying ourselves, but the time flows. So we will have to conclude our session. We really want to thank you. I would make some concluding remarks. Is that we should breathe, chant, and meditate. If
Yes,
we do that properly, it's much less likely that it's actually likely that 90% of the time we'll feel positive.
yes,
We should create a table of positive belief and destroy the table legs of all our limiting beliefs. And above all, if our mind is screwed up, use the body to change it, unscrew it. And if the body is screwed up, use the mind to unscrew it. I think maybe
right.
that with that we can sort of sum up the session today. And we must thank you, sir. You
Thank
came
you
and
very much.
really obliged all the doctors, all the people who've been watching. I'm sure we generally get about at least thousand, more than 1,000 views. We'll soon come to know. We must thank Neeraj Bijlani, who has been so encouraging with this Monday motivation. Consistently, we've been doing week on week, and he's never budged. He's always given us this slot. He's always created the advert. Without him, it can't happen. And Satyen Mehta is a very, very busy spine surgeon, but he's taken time out and expressed interest. It speaks that our session has a following and people are enjoying this session, right? So with that, Neeraj will conclude.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks a lot, and thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Thank you much. Thank you.
Must thank our audience. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Please see this session again, and we'll try to put up a summary of today's session tomorrow. Neeraj will put it across. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.